What will it take for the Pittsburgh Steelers to be successful in Cincinnati on Thursday? Well, the answer isn't so complicated.
Power takes an approach as a coach. Let's go.
It's a field back block, and that's
the guy that rolls his body around.
Welcome back, everybody, to Mic Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. As always, let's dive in here on a Wednesday. What will it take for the Pittsburgh Steelers to be successful in primetime on Thursday Night Football on a short week, heading up against a division rival that recently traded for a veteran quarterback named Joe Flacco? I don't think the answer is very complicated, and it's not all about the X's and O's. It's a simple formula, if you ask me. And that is the steady consistency of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't play outside of what you do. Continue to stay who you are. And if the Pittsburgh Steelers can continue to do that, they will be ultra successful Thursday night. Even if the Bengals at home come out and they hang 7 or 14 points on the Steelers quickly, there is no need to panic. There is no need to alarm. There is no need for Aaron Rodgers to go out there and do things differently than he has already. There is no need for the defense to go back and sit and play on their heels against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. There are no needs for that. You just continually chip away. You continually stay inside yourself. Do not panic, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will be just fine. You look at this football team over the first 6 weeks of the NFL season, and you're looking at a football team that has gotten better. I talked about that on Monday. A team that, yes, it may not jump out at you. It's not eye-popping getting better, but it is steady, gradual progression each and every week. You look at the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Broderick Jones starting to be able to handle some of those one-on-one assignments that he was missing earlier in the season, last year. Broderick Jones starting to look a little bit better in the footwork department, starting to get that strength back that we saw to where he would just throw people around his rookie season. That's what he really leaned on in his rookie year. But he's starting to put the technique and the strength together, and that is very promising for Broderick Jones, a guy that the Steelers have tremendous high hope for to be that anchor point on the left side of the Steelers' offensive line for the foreseeable future. You look at a rookie in Troy Fautanu. Yeah, he's playing okay. Has he played stellar this whole season? No. But he is starting to just be consistent. He is starting to just be a product of a cohesive group that is starting to form, a group that feeds off each other. You look at the guy playing beside him and Mason McCormick, absolutely fired up last week, getting downfield, making those blocks. He played probably his best game, in my opinion, of the season after looking at the tape, in my eyes, of what Mason McCormick has been able to do this season. So Mason McCormick making that gradual step forward each and every week, a guy that got a tremendous amount of starts under his belt in his rookie year. You look at Zach Frazier, steady Eddie there, going to be a guy that is going to be one of those Steelers centers, man. I'm not anointing him as a Hall of Fame type guy or an all-pro type guy just yet, but Zach Frazier, yes, steady. And has really showed me a lot of nice things in only his second year as the Steelers' anchor man. And then you look at the veteran, Isaac Seumalo, a guy that is going to get in that rhythm, that steadiness. And then you take that whole group and you say to yourself, damn, that's starting to look like a nice product here. And the Steelers' coaching staff has to be applauded. Why? Because they've added guys like Darnell Washington, Spencer Anderson in those heavier packages to allow the offensive line to find themselves, to find their footing. And what are you going to see as a Steeler fan as this season progresses? You're going to see less of that Spencer Anderson, Darnell Washington type stuff all the time to kind of help stay in and block. The Steelers are going to be able to pass out of those formations and utilize Darnell, and you've seen some of that already. You're going to start to see some of them bigger body guys make some plays. I'm not saying Spencer Anderson's going downfield making plays. I'm not saying that at all, but you're going to see Darnell Washington, I think, get more and more and more involved. But you're going to see the evolution of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense continue to grow. They're going to be able to do some different things because defenses aren't going to be able to load up because they aren't going to be so vanilla offensively. They're not going to be so predictable. And that is the big difference from the Steelers offense of the last several years compared to right now here in 2025, led by Aaron Rodgers and Arthur Smith. You're going to see a Steelers offense that is going to continually change and do things differently to confuse defenses and really cause a lot of chaos and not allow teams, again, to load up on you in any one situation. You're not going to hopefully be in those one-dimensional downs because there should be no one-dimensional down for you as an offense. You should be able to, as an offense, have so many versatile chess pieces that you are able to move people around that you're never one-dimensional, that you're able to do everything out of every formation. In a spread, you need to be able to run the football out of the spread formation. In those jumbo packages, you need to be able to throw the football out of those jumbo heavier sets. You got to be able to do it all, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have started to evolve in that way as an offensive unit. So that is something that the Steelers got to continue to do, and that's what I was talking about. Do not go out there and play outside of yourself. The Steelers have found an identity that is physical football at the line of scrimmage. Run the ball as steady as you can and hit the big plays when you can. And the Steelers have that formula, and they need to stick to it. If there comes a situation to where you want to speed things up and move things around and get out there with 4 or 5 wide, do it. Do it. But now the defense is like, shit, we haven't seen this. It's different. Things are moving a little differently. The motions are a little bit different. The personnel packages are a little bit different. Oh, we geared up for this. Now they're doing that. Those are the things that you're trying to do. That's why this is chess, not checkers. You are trying to confuse the defense each and every week, and I think the Steelers are starting to do a fantastic job at that. I think Mike Tomlin has loosened the reins on Arthur Smith a little bit to pull back some of that conservativeness that Mike Tomlin has had, that control that he has had over the offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers over the last many, many years. I think the Steelers now are a little bit more flexible in what they are able to do, considering Aaron Rodgers is that wily Hall of Fame type player. And I think the Steelers are real benefactors of his intelligence, and it's really starting to allow the Steelers offense to grow. So, again, what do they got to do offensively? Continue to stay steady. Don't play outside yourself, and the Steelers will be just fine offensively, and they will continue to put those 24, 25 points average up there on the football on the scoreboard each and every football game. So that's what you're looking for from the Steelers offensively. Then you move over to the defense that I think is starting to find itself also. They didn't get gashed like they had been earlier in the year, despite still winning football games. The Steelers' defense has been able to cause turnovers, and that's no accident. The Steelers' defense has been able to get off the field in big moments, and that's no accident. Where they were lacking was that just general consistency throughout the defense on those first, second downs, throughout the mid parts of the ball game, the early portions of the ball game. They just weren't consistent. They were just, hitting those big splash plays when they had to have them. But now you're starting to see this defense schematically be a little bit better. They're starting to get some of their chess pieces back. They're starting to be able to move things around a little bit, and that is going to help Terrell Austin. And let's make no real lies about it. This is Mike Tomlin's defense, and Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin, I think, are going to be able to have more weapons at their disposal, and that's scary because if you look at the Steelers' defense, they've been plain and vanilla just like the offense over the years, but yet they've still been able to do some nice things. So now you add the fact that the Steelers are being a little bit more flexible, and you add the fact that they're being a little bit more exotic in their approach to defensive football, and the playmakers that are young that are emerging. You have Derek Harmon, who's just been a monster, massive difference maker for the Steelers defensively. You look at Nick Herbig, who I don't know how you keep him off the field. I mean, I don't care what you got to do. The guy's got to be in the game. He's a difference maker. He's a playmaker. You look at the return of Alex Highsmith. I like him too. I've always liked Alex, and it's hard to keep him off the field when he's healthy. TJ Watt, just doing TJ Watt type shit. You look at Cam Hayward. He just does it all, and you got to love that. But I think the addition of Derek Harmon the better play of Keanu Benton now that Derek Harmon's there, because it allows more player flexibility in terms of what they do. And Cam Hayward, I like that defensive front, controlling the run, doing the things necessary in order to be successful. So, you like that front seven of the Steelers defense, and that is their bread and butter. That's their bread and butter for both sides of the football, offensively and defensively. You look at the back end of that Steelers defense, and they have done really, really well. I think they have. Last week against Cleveland, I thought they played their best game as a secondary. You look at Deshaun Elliott, a real hitter. Jalen Ramsey can do everything. Joey Porter Jr. has really proven that he was a solid pick and a real all-pro type guy. I think he's going to be fantastic for years to come. You look at Darius Slay, I think he's played steady. You look at James Pierre even, he's played steady. Thornhill, I like him. Peppers, I like him. Yes, injuries are going to play a toll. You got Calvin Austin, et cetera, et cetera. We'll go over that tomorrow once we definitively know who's not going to play, who's going to play. But you look at the Steelers defense as a whole and you say to yourself, they're starting to play complementary football. Secondary, front seven is all starting to do it. I love the inside linebackers a lot. I think Patrick Queen had his best game as a Steeler on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, flying around, hitting, doing it all. Patrick Queen is starting to really come into his own as the field general for the Pittsburgh Steelers defensively. I love Peyton Wilson, Cole Holcomb when he gets an opportunity. I think he does nice things. I just think as a whole, the Steelers defensively have done some really, really good things. And I think they're going to continue to grow too. But what do they have to do in order to win this week? We've talked about when they play these young mobile quarterbacks, what they need to do to them. They need to force them to climb the ladder inside of the pocket because they aren't as good processing wise. Usually they want to get out there and use their athleticism and throw the ball on the run. So what do? You bottle them up, you force them to stay in the pocket, climb the ladder, and keep their eyes downfield and process. That's what you try to do to those younger quarterbacks that are coming up nowadays that, quite honest, aren't very good processors of the game 9 times out of 10. Yeah, they're okay. There's some better than the others. But you look at the majority of these guys, and processing the game isn't their thing, man. Athleticism and getting out on the run and making splash plays, that's their thing. So what do you try to do to them? You try to force them inside of the pocket to climb the ladder, and you try to force them to beat you with their arm and their mind. That's what you try to force them to do. Now you're playing Joe Flacco, a guy that can beat you from the pocket, a guy that does have some versatile weapons in Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, et cetera, et cetera. He does have those things at his disposal. So what do you want to do to Joe Flacco? You want to force him to get out there and use the athleticism that I don't think he quite has anymore. So you want to flush him from the pocket and force him to play the game of the younger guys to where he's got to get out there on the move and trying to beat you with athleticism and throwing the ball on the run. You don't want to allow him the time to sit in there and process and stand in the pocket and be able to deliver it because he's going to eat your ass up. So this week, instead of forcing somebody up into the pocket, we want to force Joe Flacco to the sides to TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and company. That's what we want to do. And I think you're going to see a lot of Herbig, a lot of Watt, and a lot of Highsmith, really big play type guys this Thursday night on Primetime Football. So that's really where the Steelers need to be, man. And another thing they need to do is just not play outside of yourself. Stay in what you're doing. And that has to be the theme for the Steelers all across the board. Special teams, coaching even. Every phase of football, all 4 phases of football, special teams, defense, offense, coaching, those things all got to stay steady. Don't panic. Don't play outside of what you're doing. You found your identity. Continue to do those things. Those are the most important things that the Steelers have to focus on this week. Really the most important thing. And it goes for everybody. So hopefully Mike Tomlin can continue that because I think he's done a really nice job and he's really starting to change in my eyes. And I've been calling for this same change for so many years. And I'm so happy to finally start to see this from Mike Tomlin. Letting up a little bit on those reins of control and allowing his coordinators to coordinate. Allowing his team to play a little bit more loose, fast, and free. And I'm really appreciative of his efforts. And you got to give credit where credit is due. And Mike Tomlin deserves that credit right now as the Steelers are 4-1 football team ahead in the AFC North. Now, we can't get Tomlin this week. And that's what I said. Tomlin got to stay in this path of what he's doing because sometimes on short weeks, they don't have the best record in the world. They're not out there, and they'll fall to a game that they shouldn't. And quite frankly, they shouldn't lose to the Bengals. But there is a real chance that the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday. And there's always really that thing in the back of your head knowing it's AFC North football. And it's going to be who wants it more. And hopefully the Steelers want it more because it means a lot more for the Pittsburgh Steelers than it does the Cincinnati Bengals right now. The Bengals are second inside of the division. They have 2 wins. And that's not great because the division has really really fell on their face here over the first 6 weeks. And you look at a 1-5 and 1-5 football team from both of them, the Browns and the Ravens. Couldn't happen to 2 nicer franchises. But anyway, the Ravens and the Browns both sitting at the bottom 1-5. They're virtually almost mathematically out of it seems like already, man. The math won't math when you're talking about them coming back and making a run at this division. Maybe a playoff berth if they get hot or something, but you're almost ready to write them off. You look at the Bengals, they have that second win, which gives them a little bit of hope. And with Joe Flacco, they might be able to make things start to happen. So you look at that Bengals team and you say to yourself, if you're the Steelers, you got to win this game. This is a must-win game. This is a game that is a must-win, and I know all of them are must-wins in my opinion. But this is a big game that has a lot of implications because 4-2 or 5-1 are vastly different. The Steelers go out there and they get this 5th win. And they put the Bengals down yet to another loss, only having 2 wins. What will they be, 2-5 then? The Steelers will be out to a tremendous lead, and a lead that almost becomes insurmountable for the rest of the division as long as the Steelers remain steady and continue on the path that they are. But they'll have a little bit of margin for error. They'll be able to not panic if they lose a game or 2 late in the year or in the middle of the season here. They'll be okay, and they won't have to hit that panic button and try to reinvent themselves. And that is the real quality point about it all. They won't have to reinvent themselves if they don't have to. And a lot of teams have to sometimes during the middle of the season. They have to reinvent themselves. They find themselves in these 3-game losing streaks. And Mike Tomlin's teams have been known here over the last few years to get into those late season losing streaks. And the Steelers hopefully will build a big enough lead that they'll be able to claw their way out of it and really try to figure it out without getting too crazy and be able to right the ship quickly. Because they don't have to panic. They don't have to play with their backs against the wall, and that'll be something really, really special. So Thursday Night Football, man, it's big. Big AFC North matchup. I really think the Steelers have a chance to lose this game, guys. I hate to say it. If they do, it'll be tight. It'll be by a field goal. It won't be by a blowout or anything like that. But I do think that there is a real chance the Steelers lose this game just because of all the factors, what's involved. Cincinnati being at home. There's a lot of factors there, and I do think Cincinnati has a 50-60% chance of winning this game. I look for the Steelers to probably win, but there is a real chance that the Bengals do pull this out and drop the Steelers to 4-2, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but it's vastly different from 5-1 to 4-2, especially in the AFC North, where you're trying to open up a massive, almost unheard of lead inside of the division. All right, guys, so we'll be back hopefully tomorrow for a live show. Because we'll do a pregame and then we'll do a postgame tomorrow for our lives. But maybe I'll put out content in the morning too. So I've been busy. Again, we're about to enter our youth football playoffs. We have a game this week and then we're off for 2 weeks where we have practice. That's what we'll have as we prepare for the championship game if we can win our first playoff game, which I have high confidence in my boys that they will be able to get that done. So we'll see how that all rolls. And, hopefully maybe later or something. Last Monday when I said that I was going to do a live later in the day at 6 p.m. Eastern, that is my fault. I didn't do it, but duty called in terms of helping a neighbor, helping a family friend. Well, one of my son's friends get their yard taken care of in preparation for winter. They needed an assistance on that, and I went over and got that done. So that's why we didn't go live. But sometimes you got to lay things down to help others. So be good humans, man. Help other people out, and always try to be a good person to everybody as much as you can. I know some stupidity runs rampant throughout our world today, and I get it. Sometimes you just got to put the hammer down. But in general, people are good humans, and you got to treat them the same and really try to help out your neighbors. So that's why that happened, but it is what it is. So we'll be back again for sure tomorrow. We will be pregame, postgame, live shows as the Steelers go into primetime to take on the AFC North Cincinnati Bengals in a massive, massive rivalry game, in a game that I think is the most important game right now on the Steelers' docket. Yes, it's the next opportunity, but man, does this game mean so much. It means so much, guys, and I don't think many people realize just how much this means for your Pittsburgh Steelers. So until later on, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace, my friends.
Power takes an approach as a coach.
It's a field back block, and that's